it's good.
Call to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public Meetings Act states, the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law is enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of public bodies in which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Augusta, Branchville, Lafayette, and Sussex post offices, and notice sent to the New Jersey Herald, the Star Ledger, and the clerk of the boroughs of Branchville and Sussex, and the townships of Frankfort, Lafayette, and Wantage. Mission statement. High Point Regional High School, in partnership with staff, family, and community, is dedicated to the quest for individual excellence. By fostering high standards of achievement, we prepare students to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. Roll call.
Mr. Rowland? Here. Mrs. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Danner?
Here.
Mr. Dunn?
Here.
Mr. Boyku?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Nelson is not here. Mr. Ancliffe?
Here.
Mr. Bealey?
Here. All right, public comments on agenda items only. If you have a comment, please step to the podium, state your name and address. I don't see any.
You guys want to say anything?
You guys
Come on, anyone want to say something?
I got stuff to say.
Unfinished business, we have no unfinished business. The approval of minutes for the regular meeting minutes and the executive session minutes. Seeking a motion.
So moved.
Any discussion on the approval of minutes? Roll call.
Mr. Rowland? Yes. Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Danner?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boyku?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. All right, presentations. Student council report, we don't have anything. HPEA, is this on? If you would.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So do it.
No, go
Is that
ahead.
okay?
Get closer to the camera over there.
I don't think she's on it though. She may have to.
Yeah.
Let's do it the formal way.
Okay.
Maybe you get to watch yourself.
Jafran, please.
My name is Becky Sarno. I'm the new vice president of the HPRHS. As you may or may not know, we have a new executive committee. Romeo is our president, the vice president, our secretary is Aaron Bang, and treasurer is still Christina Mateo. And I look forward to working with you and the administration and my colleagues throughout my time as vice president. We have a few things to mention to you. One, Chris Kappmeyer, he spent 5 days in St. Louis being an AP reader. He spent lots of hours down there and he really had a good time. He really enjoyed himself and got to speak to some other AP physics and teachers down there. So it was a really worthwhile time for him to spend there.
It's tremendous professional development in all who participate in it. Research is also clear that the students benefit and their scores rise for having had their teacher previously been a reader. So.
Well, that's okay. No, it's really great for him to do that. Emily Howdick won our HPEA scholarship this year. You do not know her. She is an outstanding student and athlete, and we're really honored to be able to give that money to her this year. And we had a very successful end of the year party, and we'd like to thank the Green Olive for hosting us. And also graduation and project graduation were also very successful. Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Principal's report, Mr. Talmadge, if you would.
Sir, thank you. Good evening, everybody. How we doing? Good, how are you? Keep it nice and short and brief. We had a picture up there before, and I'm going to show some before, but first and foremost, graduation last week. Very successful, beautiful night. Little cloud cover, which is perfect, so the sun wasn't beating down in our eyes. Packed house, one of the largest crowds we've had in a long time, so it was a really great night. And kudos to our staff, our grounds, our custodial crew, our secretaries, security, the list goes on for a tremendous ceremony. We're blessed to have a great ceremony. We rolled right into project graduation, which was also very successful. We had about 165 students attend, which was great. And they had a great time for the first time ever. About 5 o'clock or so, they weren't knocking on the doors to get out. Their nose pressed against the windows, usually they are. We've made a couple changes in the schedule, and we actually kind of ring the bell and say, okay, 5:30, we're going to start going home. So that was a good thing. There was a lot of positive feedback about that, and a lot of great things that went into private graduation. So that was good to see them as well. As we're closing up this chapter of the school year, we are opening up the new chapter, which is getting ready for next school year. So we had a great year, tremendous year for our staff and for our students, and we're very proud of all those things that you heard about every single month. We're looking forward to finalizing the schedule and getting student schedules completed for next week, so we can get them rocking and rolling, and looking forward to the future of block schedule and all the logistical changes that take place this summer, and also the professional development, as well as just kind of the mental preparation that needs to take place for that. So a lot of positive things to look forward to, and we're very excited to have a great year and starting off with getting ready for next year. And no athletic report. Wrap up. Any questions? Thank you.
John, I just want to say something because I've got lots of time. Graduation was awesome. You did a fabulous job. It was just well run. The kids were well behaved and they enjoyed themselves. It was just a really nice ceremony. So
Thank you. Thank you.
so you tweaked a few things there and it went very
You did
well.
change a couple things, yes. Thank you.
And graduation is essentially the principal's show, and a demonstration of a ceremony such as that, in spite of some angst we had going into it, having heard some negative possibilities, to have had it go off the way it was is a testimony to the principal's leadership and his relationship with the students.
All right, curriculum instruction, Mr. Campbell, if you would.
Great, thank you. Good evening. I'd like to echo everyone's sentiments. I think some of these photos demonstrate an outstanding balance between spirit and dignity. It was fun, but it was classy, and it was special. So congratulations to Mr. Talonay, to our staff. And, it's the culmination of why we are here. It's commencement to send our young people off into the world to succeed and to do tremendous things. And we are excited when we see caps and gowns to think about the fact that our commitment to ensuring that all students at all levels succeed and that that statistic continues to grow is something we're very proud of. Notice the double asterisk. This is projected. We will not have final numbers until September. We do not expect, we anticipate that it is likely that we will exceed last year's graduation rate. If we don't, if for some reason we don't exceed it, we will certainly be in that same lofty, very accomplished number where we want to see it remain, which is mid to high 90s. So we're very proud of our efforts to continue on that front. I know I mentioned this before, but last Thursday and Friday was D-Day. We actually had 5 school districts come together and carry out a model of curriculum and development. A lot of egos, a lot of turf wars were put aside, and everyone said, I teach algebra, you teach algebra, let's come up with the best solution and teach the same consistent curriculum. So basically, we had representatives from all 4 of our sending districts, as well as our own math teachers here at High Point, led by Mr. Brian Drell, who said, hey, let's take a look at the standards. What must students learn? What does our curriculum dictate? What is the state requirement? Second, let's build towards common assessments. How do I know if our students are achieving as well as our middle school students if we're using different assessments? So there was an agreement made to say, let's find assessments that are strong and valid and use the same assessments. And the third part was mapping. I'll get to baseball in a minute. Mapping, this board has supported a tremendous amount of money in the summer over the past few years, and even during the year, to take on this now 4-year-old initiative of putting our curriculum on a digital platform, and it has paid off. Some people are still skeptic of whether it's worth the time and whether it's valuable to have your curriculum on a digital platform. But when Frankfurt and Lafayette and Sussex Wantage and Montague said, can we have your map? And once they saw it, they saw how it was organized. It's basically your standards, what you want students to learn, the assessments that you'll use, and the activities that you use. So this is just one unit of Algebra 1, and this is now a map being used by High Point teachers and all 4 of our sending districts. Same standards, same goals, same assessments, same activities. We don't want teachers to be robots. This doesn't mean that the art of teaching has gone away. It means here are 12 activities on the right with some similar goals and strategies. Take what you want and at least have some commitment to a shared curriculum. So it was a really exciting day. When I show this to our teachers next year, the teachers have already shown it to this past year, it builds buy-in for collaboration and for using the maps as a tool to improve our curriculum and to be working on a common curriculum. Our RTI never sleeps, so here comes the summer. Monday morning, we will have students here working with Mrs. Kirsten Sabo. We actually have 5 sessions. I tried to get a picture of Mrs. Sabo, she wouldn't give me one. I could not find one on the internet anywhere. I even went through other people's Facebook pages, other teachers, and said, in the math department, I guess she doesn't like to be photographed. So I could not find a picture, but I wanted to give her a tremendous amount of credit because she said, well, I can do evenings, I can do Saturday mornings, I can do July, I can do August. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. And a lot of these are all 9th and 10th graders who failed the math course. And if a student got a 56 or a 57 in math freshman year, and you don't give them an option to save themselves, they now come into sophomore year taking 2 maths, a subject they've demonstrated they struggle in and they don't like. And research tells us it is the primary target for addressing our dropout problem. So we're very excited that about a dozen students will be here, and they'll be regaining credit through doing work and demonstrating on assessments that they can pass their quarterly assessments. So we're very excited about that. Other initiatives this summer. We are spending less money this summer. I'm happy to report that the amount of money that we're spending for curriculum and development this summer is decreased, and we hope it will continue to decrease. I hoped it would drop even lower than it has, but there are a few initiatives that did require us to support curriculum development. Our goals. If you have a new course, you must support the teacher in the summer in any way you can to make sure they're prepared to teach it. We have a new set of science standards and a new digital platform that we're incorporating in our science classes. We will have a reading specialist pushing in to our B-level classes next year to work with the longer time period of block and to help with the merging of our B-level and C-level. And last, our AP institutes. They have tremendous professional development, week-long programs, and we have 5 teachers that are going to these programs. It's expensive. It's a big commitment from the district, but the teachers that come back from these AP institutes, like Mr. Kaltenmeyer coming back from Missouri, say it's just a fabulous experience, so we're proud of that. New courses next year, video game design, AP capstone, we're now in the 2nd year, so the capstone program has 2 parts, seminar and then research. Next year we'll run both. This year we only ran seminar. Next year we'll have seminar and research. Heather Gonzalez, Julie Clausen will head that up. Ben Kapler with video game design. Chris Dexter will teach a course that we have wanted to offer for several years and will now debut in September, AP Computer Principles. And our foreign language department is, we believe that in any subject, elite students should have the opportunity to study that language on the AP level. First to go is Spanish, and that debuts this year. A few courses backed by popular demand. The language of diplomacy returns to High Point. Kelly Reynolds will be teaching French. Macro and microeconomics is back, and AP psychology taught by someone who knows a lot about crazy things and very popular, fun teacher, Mr. Ryan. Discovery Ed, Mrs. Sarno is with us tonight. She and I were speaking before the meeting. We hope that we can continue to move away from hard copy textbooks. At $95 to $195 a textbook, it's painful to make a commitment to a somewhat outdated resource. The Discovery Ed program will be interactive, problem solving, world-based, real-world problems where students engage and it's more interactive. Everything we do in our curriculum, we're moving away from content memorization, more towards application, problem solving, and being engaged. I may have skipped over that baseball picture before, real quickly. But you could just go back to that real quick. One of the things that I think is very exciting about our math efforts, with the extended time and block, and these math teachers coming together saying, how do we help these kids that don't like math? A series of activities that they decided to implement was that every unit needs to have a lab. There needs to be a problem-based solution that kids come together in teams and try to work on. And the first one that Mr. Drell showed me was an algebra math lab where you look at all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums and try and determine which one has the greatest home run ratio based on wind speed and altitude and stadium dimensions. So we're trying to put more of that application, that real-world thinking, into our curriculum in every subject. So I'm excited to see the block scheduling being utilized in that manner. That's the Discovery Ed platform. We're hopeful that it is a valuable commitment. You'll see on your addendum that we have a lot of professional development days budgeted for this. Discovery sends out, when you sign up for a subscription for their textbook, they send trainers to come to High Point and work with our staff. So they'll be here for 2 days training our teachers. And last, just a few things off of our tremendous curriculum. On a Saturday night in June, I have to give Mr. Giardino props. He drove up from Bergen County and left his wife at a barbecue to attend our coffee house in the media center to celebrate the issuing of Calliope, our award-winning journal with drawings and short stories and poetry, and it's a fantastic piece of work. You probably can't see him here, but in the back there is someone on the ground who you might know, Mr. Dunn, who works for a digital photography company. Is that accurate?
High-speed digital imaging.
High-speed digital imaging. This was incredible. The students and teachers were saying that it's cross-curricular, involved math and science and tech. Well, Mr. Dunn, you want to tell us a little bit about what you're...
I'm very fortunate to have a company that allows me to showcase some of our equipment, and I was able to bring one of our applications engineers and some of our equipment, the Phantom cameras, to demonstrate for Mr. Fenton in his classes and some of the physics classes, I believe. I think there were on the order of about 150 students that came through during the course of the day.
Fantastic. I asked Mr. Job for example, and he said basically everything from, if you ever watch professional golf on TV and you see the slow speed, where you see the club hit the golf ball and you actually see the ball compress because it's high-speed camera, or from airbags, and everyone from NASA to Honda to Major League Baseball uses this type of state-of-the-art equipment, and our students got to experience it, so thank you for...
We were happy. We had one at the finals last evening. And
Oh,
for some reason, they put a picture on CBS with the camera and LeBron in the background.
Oh, fantastic. Exciting. Just a few more. Dr. Zwicky, you may have heard of him, is at Weehawken, and he reached out to us about a week ago, and he said, hey, I'm doing a presentation to my staff. Could I get a couple of teachers and a couple of administrators to speak to us? And I just couldn't get over how easy it was. 1, 2, 3, boom, here comes your invite on Google Hangout. Next thing you know, you're being projected to Weehawken faculty, telling them about High Point's pilot program. So Weehawken is going to incorporate the teacher self-evaluation, and it was just a neat piece of technology to collaborate with our old friend and speak to his staff. Barbara Fasano, Brian Drellick, Aldo Giardino, and myself spoke to them. And I think that our students, what they accomplish and where they go, is a great source of pride. There's our top 10. Mr. Talmay always tweeting out the best and the brightest. Really some amazing, amazing accomplished students heading to great colleges and universities. Questions? Thank you.
Okay, move on to action items.
Okay, under curriculum and instruction, I want to acknowledge items 1, 2, and 3, the faculty attendance report, the student attendance report, and the suspension report for the month of May. And the suspension report overall it's better. We're better. We're down like 20-some kids in suspension, 20-some suspension. So hopefully that will continue. We look forward to that working out. The rest of the items, 4 through 10, I'm going to motion to move those together. Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about any of those? That's the harassment, intimidation, bullying report, field trip list, professional development list, removal of textbooks, the Sustainable New Jersey program, and we're starting a National Business Honor Society, and we have an amendment to our NCLB grant, which is listed. The only thing I want to say is that for the Sustainable New Jersey, we tabled it last month, and Dr. Ripley sent out some information. People discussed it as they wanted to, and it's not really much of a commitment on our part, other than we are allowed to participate. Is that a good way to explain?
Yes.
It's not a financial commitment.
No, it is not. It is, I thought that Mr. Campbell, if anyone would like to, he could give you a brief summary if it's appropriate or not to move the item.
No, this is discussion part, so we can vote yes on the item.
Please give us an update, Mr. Campbell. Your knowledge on green.
I spoke to Sustainable New Jersey. There are 3 schools right now in our county who are participants. We would be the 4th. There are approximately 190 schools in the state who participate, and basically the financial obligation to us is 0. Once the board passes resolution, we can then set strategies and apply for grant money to reach those strategies. We will be having a green team where we will invite community members, parents, teachers, students, members of the Board of Education to take a look at our school and think of ways we could be more sustainable. These are as small as consulting with our food services as to whether or not they might be able to incorporate more locally grown produce. How we could monitor and improve our ability to recycle. They can be extremely modest benchmarks. There's no commitment for us to invest in anything. It's simply structured so that you target certain goals and apply for grant money to help you to reach it. And Mr. Aaron Baker from our science department will be heading up our green team, and his environmental science class would be involved in it. But that was the concern, is what are we getting ourselves into? And it is a very very limited commitment, 0 commitment financially.
Something quick to add, we're doing some carpet replacement in the media center. So the gentleman who came in and provided the carpet and said, are you part of Sustainable New Jersey? And I said, well, it's going to be on the board meeting. He said, good, I'm going to send you some information. 8% of the back of the carpet is recyclable plastic, so you earn points if you go for a grant. So now I'll send that paperwork to Aaron Baker. So it's kind of neat.
That is good. Okay, any other questions or comments about those items? Roll call?
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Okay, personnel. I'm seeking a motion to move section D, personnel, items 1 through 13 and number 14 on the addendum.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion of said items?
Congratulations on being an official director and not just acting like one.
All right, there we go. Any more questions or concerns? Roll call.
Mr. Danner?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes on all except 11. I have to abstain to the business relationship.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Okay, curricular, seek a motion to move section C, items 1 through 7, plus the addendum item.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those items? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Danner?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Okay, policy, we don't have any policy items. There are no negotiation items before us. There are no buildings and grounds items before us. Move on to finance, Mr. Rowland.
Under Finance, I'd like to move items 1 through 14. One is the report of the Secretary of Business Administrator for May 2016, attachment G1. 2 is the report of Treasurer, attachment G2. 3, transfers, attachment G3A, G3B, GB. 4 has a list of payments, attachment G4. 5 are the list of accounts, attachment G5. 6 is acknowledges the donation of weight room equipment from Deidre Metzger for approximately $2,000. 7, there are some tuition contracts. 8, some more tuition contracts. 9 is to do with the state free and reduced lunch program. 10 is for some substitute nurses for the 16-17 school year. 11 is the approve Sussex County Department of Environmental Health Services for the hepatitis B vaccine for the employees. 12 is for a tennis camp. 13 for a football camp. 14 for a transfer to the capital reserve account.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
So is 13 really a co-ed football camp?
Yep.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Woodview?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ankler?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Danner?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Bewley?
Yes. All right, transportation, Mr. Miller, if you would.
Okay, I will move items 1 through 8. Item number 1 is the joint transportation agreement as listed. Number 2 is the quoted contracts for the 2015-16 school year as listed. 3 is for the completed bus evacuation drills for the 2015-16 school year. 4 is the joint transportation agreement for the 2016-17 ESY program as listed. Number 5 is for parental contract with the parent of student ID number 1617005 as listed. Number 6 for quoted contracts again for special needs students for the 2016 ESY program. Number 7, joint transportation agreement for the 2015-16 school year as listed. And lastly, number 8, quoted contracts for special needs students for 2015-16 school year as listed.
Second.
Any discussion on transportation item? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ankler?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Danner?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Woodview?
Yes.
Mr. Bewley?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to legal. I need a motion to move into closed session. Discuss.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, let's go to closed session to discuss this matter.
We have approximately 10 to 20 minutes.
And then we're gonna come back here.
Then we will come back and no action will be taken in closed session.
We'll come back and open the public and finish the meeting.
Yes. No, we'll go into the library.
Are you going home, Beth?
Thank you all. Thank you. Have a good night.
See you.
Thanks. It's awesome that you have a thing. It really was important.
How long were we gone?
Almost half hour.
We were having so much fun. The time was-
I thought you might have a movie on in there.
such a deal that I could grab it. But the lady from the
Smart, appreciate it.
All right, we need a motion to come back in a regular session.
Motion to go back to regular session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Good. All right, on the legal, moving section I, the legal section as written, need to seek a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on said item? Seeing none, roll call.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Gainer?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boyku?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ratcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Rowland?
Yes.
Mr. Beely?
Yes. Okay, correspondence, we have none. We have no miscellaneous, unless Ms. Nation has anything you'd like to add tonight? No? Public comments, if you have a comment, please step up to the podium, state your name and address to the board. I know tonight we don't have to get carried away, but we try to keep it limited to 3 minutes if we would.
Don't like it, Hi, my name is Adrienne Rasky. I'm 330 Rolling Ridge Road in Montague. I have 11th grader who's going to be a 12th grader in Port Jervis. I have another one who's going to be a sophomore. And then I have a daughter who's going into 8th grade. And I know back in March when the settlement agreement, that High Point did state that they would maybe look into siblings in the future, or at a later date, if the siblings can stay in the same school with my other two, because I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to have two in 2 different high schools and they all play sports. And I was one of the original members on the Montague Board of Ed for 4 years, and my term ended in December of 2014, where we did vote in open public to allow the 7th and 8th graders and their siblings to continue their education in Port Jervis. And then come January, a letter was sent for just allowing high school siblings to go. I don't know how that went from us voting to 7th and 8th grade siblings to just siblings. And no one has been able to, when I've gone to Montague Board of Ed, no one has been able to tell me what happened, how we voted on one thing and something else was sent. So, I've just kind of been hoping these past 2 years that something was going to come where my kids can stay together. And I know there is a few other families that have kids in the same situation. And being a single mom and trying to, juggle all this, I know there has to be an end, and I do get that. And so, I'm just hoping that maybe siblings could be considered, and I know that there is going to be an end, and most kids are going to want to do the K through 8 in Montague and then come right here, because that's all they're going to know. But the kids that, are already in Port Jervis and already have, like, siblings, my other kids graduated from there, and it's just going to be really hard for me to try and figure out how to take care of 2 kids in 2 different high schools and sports, and their sporting events when you're away is all the way upstate New York. Here, you're down in Jersey, and I'm just trying to figure out how all this is going to happen. And I know when I did vote in December, I knew that there was an end. I voted to have the K through 8. I knew the kids that were already there, should have the right to finish out with their siblings, and then a fresh start, a new K through 8. They come to High Point, and I thought that was the way it was gonna be, and then there was gonna be an end, and then I don't know what went wrong. And anytime I've ever asked, I've been told they would look into it, and I never, in 2 years, never got an answer. I asked the board president, who was the board president when I was on. She doesn't know what happened, so no one gave me an answer. And then I've been following and I watch you guys online because I can't make it here because my kids play sports. That's why I was a little late, and I do apologize. But I've been trying to follow up and see and hope that something we can agree that something can happen where the families can stay together, and then then the ones that don't have any ties to Port Jervis can start fresh with the K through 8 in Montague, and then the come here to High Point. That's all I wanted to say, thank you.
No more public comments? See none? We have, non-committee board member reports? No? Really? All right. Yeah, you want to vote on the first?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, executive session. A motion will be made, the High Point Regional High School Board of Education enter executive session to reconvene the board office to provide an update on legal issues, discuss personnel items, and advise on preliminary negotiations, discussions, which are exempt from public participation pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 1975, Chapter 31 of the Public Meetings Act. Any discussions held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public when appropriate. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene a public session in the board office at the conclusion of the executive session. Action will not be taken, correct? Correct. All right, and we'll be back for, what, half hour? 45 minutes? Half hour, 45 minutes. Seeking motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?